Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
In Walmart's Who'Knewville, everyone ready their cart. Amazing Black Friday deals are about to start. Online and in the app, such great deals to explore. Everything you love from tech, toys, and more. The days to save and the ones to remember. It's only the 25th to the 30th of November. Set your alarms. Don't miss out. These deals are epic, without a doubt. The Who's are all ready, but are you? Walmart Black Friday deals await. Who knew?
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by two veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
It's Tuesday. A PSA before we start tonight. Let's remember Police Officer Hunter Simanchik, Kansas City Police Department, Kansas. End of watch today, Tuesday, August 26th, 2025. Keep his friends, his family, his peers, those in his community who just had this sudden loss in your thoughts and prayers as they go through this tough time. Tonight is a solemn anniversary as well. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Because it's Tuesday. And the crew is here. We don't pull punches. We bring the fire. And tonight, we kick this show off with reflection, respect, and remembrance. August 26, 2021. A day etched into the heart of every warrior, every veteran, every patriot. On that day, during a chaotic and failed withdrawal from Afghanistan, America lost 13 brave women and men. 13 warriors who stood watch at Abbey Gate, protecting the innocent, guarding freedom, and wearing our nation's uniform with honor. Their lives were cut short, but their legacy burns eternal. Tonight, before we bring the laughs, the grit, and the truth bombs, we pause to say their names, because they are more than a headline. They are our brothers. They are our sisters in arms. Pause with me and remember them. Staff Sergeant Darren T. Hoover, 31 years old, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant Johanny Rosario Pichardo, 25, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant Nicole L.G., 23, United States Marine Corps. Corporal Hunter Lopez, 22, United States Marine Corps. Corporal Dagan W. Page, 23, United States Marine Corps. Corporal Humberto A. Sanchez, 22, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal David L. Espinoza, 20, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Jared M. Schmitz, 20, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Riley J. McCullum, 20, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Dylan R. Marola, 20, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Kareem M. Nicole, 20, United States Marine Corps. Navy Hospitalman Maxton W. Soviak, 22, United States Navy. And Staff Sergeant Ryan Naus, 23, United States Army. 13 warriors, 13 Americans, 13 lights that will never be extinguished. So as we launch this show tonight, let's remember why we fight, why we serve, and why we here at the Misfit Nation and the ToosDay Crue never quit. This one's for them. This is the ToosDay Crue. Let's roll, boys.
Good evening, Misfit Nation.
Good
The
evening,
ToosDay
Misfit.
Crue is here.
Welcome to this episode of the ToosDay Crue. Good evening, Stephen.
How are you, sir?
I am good. I am good. How did you enjoy your Tuesday?
It was not a bad day. Did what I had to do, got things done, and a nice little dinner, and sitting here hanging out with you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, glad to have you here this evening, and like to thank our producer, Rich. Thank you for that tribute. That was great, brother. That was great. Thank you.
It almost made me get up and walk away for a second.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Hey, we got a great guest this evening. We're going to do a quick introduction of him here real quick. His name is Will Eller. He is a retired U.S. Army First Sergeant, EOD technician. And now he is a firearms instructor, situational awareness expert. He's got bunches of deployments from, military service from the Gulf War, multiple deployments. He's overcome some injuries, TBI and PTS. He does firearms and safety training strategies. He serves the community through his faith and leadership, and he has got a mentorship program through the Fishers of Men National Fishing Tournament Trail. And without any further ado, let's bring in, and let me add a friend that I can call on anytime for conversation. If I needed him, he'd probably be on the first thing smoking coming up here if I really needed him bad. And he knows I'd do the same for him. So let's get Will Eller in here.
Good evening, Will.
I got to wipe away tears now.
From the introduction he just gave, or what my brother did, because he was just shoveling
shit. From the tribute all the way to Jake, talking about me there.
We'll talk bad about you after we get off the air.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, that was a wonderful tribute. That's a terrible tragedy. We lost those great individuals. Well done. Very well done.
Yeah. Well, and like Rich said, it could have been handled different, and that was probably needless, but it happened, and we got to roll on.
That's right.
So,
now,
Will,
I have a question real quick. This
Yes,
is
sir.
the second time. Rich has had people on the second time. Are we going to be like Saturday Night Live? We're going to be getting them robes with the number of times they're on the show. They come in and just, you're a 4-timer, you're a 5-timer.
Yeah. That $2 will get you a free cup of coffee somewhere.
Well, yeah, but it's something that was running through my head. Like, this is the second time we've been doing this a year. This is good. But,
yes.
It's had a couple of, do we give out prizes after a while? You've been in enough times.
I don't know. I just feel honored. I just feel honored to be invited. I'm tickled pink, so I don't need a robe or anything else.
Yeah. Something tells me I do not need to see you in a robe, Will.
No, sir, you don't. Or shower curtain, right? Or shower curtain, right?
Yeah, that was funny. Stephen, I'll tell you a little story. They had a team member that was very, very bashful in Will's unit. So one day when he was in the shower trailer, we snuck over and stole his towel and all his clothes while he was in the shower. And he was in there quite a while.
He played a trick on you with food or something, and that was your payback, was to take all his stuff.
But anyway, he come out of the shower trailer and walking back to his housing unit, wrapped in the shower curtain.
Middle of Iraq. And the funny thing is that young individual went on to be a Delta Force EOD guy and working for Delta Force and finished his career out. He just recently retired. So.
Awesome. That was Brian Livesay, wasn't it?
Kevin Livesay. Yeah.
Kevin. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good. I think. Yeah, I can't remember what he did with my food, but that's a couple things you don't mess with me. One of them is my food.
I hear you.
But hey, let's get rolling into this thing. Last time we talked to you, we was talking about your ministry stuff, and I know that you're still doing that, but you have ventured out and you started there in your local community, and I think that you're branching out. I'll let you tell that story, but teaching situational awareness to families and to people. And won't you kind of explain to us what you're doing, or tell us a little bit about yourself first for those that are tuning in for the first time, and then we'll go into that, however you want to do it.
All right. Well, you introduced me pretty well, more than what I deserved, I think. But I retired EOD. When I retired, I and Jake and I think we served together in '96 overseas, and that's where we met. And then, anyways, retired as a first sergeant and as an E8, and then I jumped into trying to find that thing that, that new tribe, basically something to keep me busy, something to keep my mind occupied. I think we all try to do that. If we don't, we fall really quickly. Jumped into Fishers of Men, national organization, putting on bass tournament trails within Central Texas to introduce anglers and their families to a relationship with Christ. I'm still doing that. I think this will be my wife and I do that together. And I think this will be our sixth or seventh year doing that. And still going strong, loving it. Absolutely love loving on people and pointing them to Christ. And then a couple of years ago, I could easily have been one of those people that turned into a hermit that moved out here to the country and didn't speak to anyone. You mentioned earlier PTS, which thanks for not putting a D on there. I don't know why that was ever put on PTSD. It's not a disorder. It's just stress. And working through the Bible and learning things and everything else, that stuff's behind me as far as I'm concerned. And I ended up getting involved in the community a little bit and trying to get my foot in the door. And I started taking some shooting classes and enhancing my own ability to shoot. And I said, I can probably teach this. Mm-hmm. Started teaching, never took shooting too seriously in the military. I teach in my classes that the average military guy shoots twice a year on the range, Yeah. I think we shot a lot more than that, and I'm thankful for that. But really and truly, I never took it that seriously to where I wanted to be, a top-notch shot or anything else. And I don't consider myself that way now, but I've learned how to teach people pretty well with it. And I said, well, I'll teach women. And started taking all the classes needed for that and started teaching women in my area. And then I took been to Left to Bang school, combat hunter program, did some stuff like that while I was still in. And I said, I can probably make some situational awareness classes. My wife's been part of ASOC program for 14, 15 years. We can take surveillance, counter surveillance, situational awareness, put something together for some of these women in my community. So we started doing that and teaching women what to look for and how to stay safe. Just right here in our we live in a small town. So how to stay safe in our little town and when they go to the big towns. Ended up being something that, man, my passion just, it took off with it. And met a lady here, a pillar in our community. She runs a women's firearm shooting club here in our area. And she was the first female officer in our county. She was a bailiff. She knows everybody in town. I met her and we started kind of putting our hits together, and I kind of feed off of her and my wife. I come up with an idea and I pitch it to them and they say, hey, that's a great idea. Or Will, I don't know what you're thinking. The other night I pitched to them. I said, you know what? I want to teach every single mother in our community and every single woman living by herself a situational awareness class. And I want it to be on a scale where the mayor of this town has to find as a facility to put everybody in it while we do this class. And immediately, we did this in a parking lot the other night. I said, look, I prayed about this. I thought about it. It came to me, and this is what I want to do. And both of them were like, well, we need to do this, and this, and this. And so we're on a roll now. We have an agenda. So, but the firearm stuff is great. The situational awareness stuff is great. And I have found peace in trying to help people within my community. I think that's what we're meant to do. If we stop and look at it, we stop and think about it, we are taught so many wonderful things, especially in our job. Yeah. That we can come out into a community and we can work with people and we can help people. And I think every military person, if they stayed in very long, they have the ability to get out and go and help in their community and not necessarily be a leader, but be an asset. And if you can't, if you're not an asset, in my opinion, you're a liability. And that's just all there is to it. I tell this in my class. I had an OGA tell me overseas one time, and he was a meat eater. I mean, just a massive, massive man. And he set me down and he said, you're either an asset to us or you're a liability. If you're a liability, my guys will leave you. If you're an asset, we'll do anything in the world for you. And I've kept that mentality. When I was the first sergeant, I told my guys that you're either an asset or a liability. So it took me a little bit to tell myself that about my community. And that's what I'm striving to do. And I'm dragging my wife right along with me. So we're having fun with it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And, you're giving back and you're helping out the community, making it a safer community. If I ever come to see you, I'm going to get a bumper sticker and put on the back of my truck. So, I know Will Eller, do not report me.
I tell you, I'm not intentionally doing it, but it's a residual effect. We charge $100 for everything. Every shooting class, and I'll get into non-lethals and we'll run scenarios and let them shoot each other with non-lethals, the whole 9 yards, and everything's $100. And, I know guys that are, and respectfully, they're way better than I am, but they charge $500 and $600 a day for this stuff. And I live in a very small community where that just would never work for me. But what I can do is offer it at a price where people can afford it and do it and learn. And I'm telling you, man, when you have somebody call you, I had a gentleman call me. I taught a trucking company a situational awareness class, an over-the-road trucking company that hired me to teach safety at rest stops and at overnight truck parking at gas stations. And I did research, found out statistics about, people getting mugged at those locations, everything else, truck driver incidents, everything. I taught a class over basically a Zoom meeting with all these truck drivers that had to dial in. And I had that individual that set that training up call me not too long ago. My wife and I were in the truck, and he said, man, I want to tell you, I had something happen this weekend. And had I not been in your class and learned that, it would have completely went right over my head what I saw. But because I learned, I was able to approach this individual and make sure that whatever intentions he had were destroyed before he carried them out.
Yes.
And so hearing that, it just, man, there's so much satisfaction and peace in that, and knowing that you're doing something for somebody, that it's a new way of living for me.
So. Yeah. And, I don't know, it surprises me, you go out, you go to the store, you go something like that, and you're out. 90% of the people out there, or maybe even more, are oblivious.
Yeah.
They're
to no fault of their own. I mean,
no, they've just never been taught. Hey,
yeah.
That is the biggest problem.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Nobody's taught that, and they all walk around like this all day.
Yep.
And they don't even know who's in front of them, who's behind them. And
yeah, I tell you,
it's a problem.
It's amazing when you see the light bulb pop on in a classroom full of men and women, and you say something like, hey, the next time you leave Walmart, just walk out the front doors of Walmart and stick your hand in your purse and walk to your car with your hand in your purse. Just having your hand in your purse tells a bad guy with ill intent there's something in her purse. You don't even have to have anything. But when you tell somebody that, you can just see the light bulbs pop on, and people are like, wow, I never thought about that. But it's simple little bitty things that can change. I mean, if we can kill the enemy's will to fight, we're in great shape. And that's my main focus. If I can give women some tidbits to kill that enemy's will, that's all that matters.
And, it's just like that we're taught from, day one when you deploy, or, the enemy does not want to hit a hard target.
Negative. Never.
No. And if you go out there and you present a hard target to, whoever is out there, they're going to think twice. They're going to move on to somebody else.
Yeah.
And okay, yeah, that's kind of bad to say, but they might just abandon the situation altogether.
Yeah, it's we talk, PSYOPs is in our life, in the military, PSYOPs is a big thing, and it can be a huge hindrance or it can be a huge help. And you can use it every day, every single day in our normal life. And the ideal, I would much, and I mean, you guys can attest to this just as much as I can. Once you actually take action and have to pull something and use something in defense, you also have to lay your head down at night.
Yes.
And there's many, many, many men who will say, I'm okay with that until they have to do it. And if I can sit in front of a classroom of 20 or 30 people and teach them little bitty small things that de-escalate it and kill that person's desire to attack you, to grab your purse, to try to rob you or anything else. If I can deter that by teaching you a couple of things to take action with, you don't ever have to face that. You don't ever have to go home and lay your head down and know that you had a rough day, a really, really rough day with people. You're going to be under investigation for a long time for the action that you took,
Yes. So. And your favorite toy might not come back to you either.
Oh, it's not. That's I tell that in my license to carry classes here. I'm like, listen, don't go buy an H&K and make it your everyday. You're just going to lose it.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work out for you.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I love that aspect. I love teaching people on the range and everything, but there's such a passion for teaching people that in a classroom and teaching them things about situational awareness too. I hold a class that starts on a Friday night, and I have teams meet me Friday night at 7 p.m. on our courthouse square. And I hand them folders. I break them up into teams. I hand them folders. Inside their folders, missions that they have to carry out between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. that night on Friday night. And they break up into teams. They take their mission folder. They go and do their missions. And I bring in role players, and I bring in people to surveillance them, take pictures of them in the stores where they're at, everything else. And then their last 30 or 40 minutes of that night, they're setting static either at Walmart or the grocery store or Tractor Supply, and they're just watching the door and watching and recording everything they see. And, during that time, the next morning we meet at Saturday, and we're in that classroom from 9 a.m. till 2 or 3 o'clock on Saturday. So it's a long course. And during that time, we've had women uncover a drug deal in Walmart where they were using the light poles with the poles in the parking lot with a concrete bottom and the poles mounted to it, the little thing that covers the bolts where the pole mounts to the concrete. The guy would pull up, lift that, put the drugs underneath there, put the cover back on, leave. Another car would come up, pull that, leave the money under there, take the drugs. I had students uncover that in Walmart. It's so, and
that's amazing.
And they know they're being followed. They know they're being pictures being taken. So their level is already, amped up. So they see a lot of stuff. And then all I have to do on Saturday is tell them, you see what happens when you really pay attention and when you're really observant and you're looking, you might see all kinds of stuff. So,
and you see stuff and, you see it on social media and stuff, of things that you can, if you pick up on something, say you're in that parking lot and you see a guy that's going to approach a woman or something like that, or, he's going to try to do something or approaching it, just walk up and start a conversation with them. And, after the assailant, or could be assailant, walks off or whatever, explain to, hey, I did that because, so-and-so was fixing to, I don't know what they were going to do, but just having that situational awareness. And
And us as men, we're called to be protectors. So, I harp on that quite a bit. Especially, I cannot stand it when I see a woman putting a kid in a car seat in a parking lot, because half her body's inside that car. She has no visual coherency whatsoever outside of that back seat. And so I urge them, hey, stop, watch that woman put her. If she calls you creepy, let her call you creepy. But she did not get attacked while she was putting that kid in that car seat, and you were there to make sure of it, So
yes,
it's everything I do is based on left to bang process. Bang being a timeline with bang in the middle. That bang could be anything from somebody grabbing a purse, somebody pulling a gun, trying to rob you, whatever. My focus is staying left of that. When you go right of it, it's reactive. Everything we do is going to be reactive. So you're reacting to chaos at that point. If we can stay left of it and be vigilant, and we can identify what's normal and what goes above that line or below that line, what's an abnormality, we can usually address the abnormality before the chaos ever takes place. We remain a lot safer that way.
I don't know about where you're at, but we get a lot of interstate traffic, and there's the thing that, because you don't know who's out on that road.
No. If you're close to that internet, it's very easy for accessibility for that person to get back on that internet on that interstate and take off, and that's a bad deal for sure. Luckily we're not, but our cities were these women and people that live in our town, they travel. Bryan College Station, Texas A&M University is right up the road. It's a fairly quiet place. It's not too bad, but it's a massive university with lots of students there and a lot going on. So they go there and shop, or Houston's an hour and a half, 2 hours down the road. So Austin's an hour away. So they're always going to the city. And unfortunately there's bad people out there, and unfortunately they carry out bad intent in those cities. And, they do it here as well, but just not on that scale. But, if we can give them a little bit of information and teach them. And Melissa, my wife, has spent so many years in the ASOC program working with it, with SF and other agencies, that she sits in a car in a parking lot and for hours at a time just pulling surveillance and providing surveillance from vehicle or on foot. So she has a wealth of knowledge of things that she sees in Atlanta and places like that, all of these big cities. And so when we bring that, and our other friend, the lady I was telling you about here, BJ, we bring all three of us together. We can usually put together a pretty good little product for our audience. Our goal is to be able to walk into Walmart or any store around here and be able to point out assets because we know them and we know what they've been trained to do and what, they've been through classes and they're vigilant. They're aware of what's going on around them. So,
and I'm pretty sure after giving this class a few times, and knowing you will probably end up, knowing everybody in your in your town.
I'm not that personal. That's why I got Melissa. Melissa never meets a stranger, and the lady that we call a dear friend, she you can't talk to her out in public because she knows everybody, and you stand in Walmart and you try to have a conversation with her, and 55 people have to stop and say hi to her because they all know her. So I let them be the social butterflies, and I just stand up on the podium and do my talking.
I understand. And
that's what it is walking around with Rich.
Yeah. I bet.
And he popped a thing in here about a situation we had today. We had lunch today at a ramen joint, and there was a woman that come in, had a child, no situational awareness whatsoever. And she took over 40 pictures of herself and her kid with zero regard of who was watching her, who was, and it was like, oblivious. The only thing that existed was her and her camera taking pictures.
Yeah, these things are great, but they're a hindrance as well. They truly are. They truly are. They take us. They take us from being able to use peripheral to not existing whatsoever. So. Oh
yeah, I mean, great way to put your kid in harm's way. Yes, it is.
And unfortunately for us, as well as I do, when we were overseas, when you had a crowd gather really fast, you knew something bad was fixing to happen. When you had a crowd completely dispersed before you got there, you knew something was fixing to happen. Yes. So you had two huge indicators. And here in the States, in a Walmart parking lot, and I keep using Walmart because that's all we have is a Walmart. So, but any big parking lot like that or a parking garage or something like that, you don't have those indicators that are so obvious. They were pretty obvious to us. We were driving down the road going on a mission. We pretty much knew, something bad's fixing to happen. However, here we don't have those telltale signs. We have them, but you have to really understand what those telltale signs are to be able to see them and address them. It's just not that obvious here. Unfortunately, a bad guy has one thing on his mind, and that's it. And he has his OODA loop. That's why he gets beat by the police so much, because in confrontation with police officers, because they understand an OODA loop. Bad guy only has one thing: get money, get drugs, get money, get whatever. Take this purse, do this. He has one agenda, and that's it. And it's one person, or maybe two. It's not 40 or 50 people that just scattered because you walked into a parking lot. So it's a little tougher, but it's doable and it's definitely teachable. That's for sure. We've found that out, and it's going great.
And what's weird is here in New Jersey, not all areas are terrible here, but you go to a Home Depot, you go to a Lowe's, you go to a Walmart, and you got these towers in every parking lot with the police lights on and cameras. They just sit in the parking lot. They have them stationary with generators. It's like they're watching everybody that goes to the parking lots.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We've got
all these big spots now. Yeah. And these aren't, and these areas aren't that bad areas, which I live in close to a bad area, and I grew up in an area, but where I work, it's nice, quiet neighborhoods, and they got these cameras in the parking lots. Like they're watching everything you do when you get out of your car.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we've gotten there, but it's, and I'm sure those things are running nonstop, and I hope that those things are causing a bad guy not to do something,
right? And for people to pay attention.
Yeah, and I mean, our church, we have, man, I tell you, we are so blessed at our church. We're not a huge church, but we're growing like crazy, and we have probably 5 or 6 officers that come to church. So one of them is a school resource officer. When he comes to church, he parks his vehicle outside.
Mm-hmm.
And just that, just those small things like that will make a bad guy say, I don't think that's my target today, and that's what, if we can do that and we can teach people little things like that to make that bad guy say, I don't think, or bad girl or whoever, I don't think I want to mess with that or take that chance, then we're winning every time.
Or sadly, if they're crackhead or meth head, they don't even pay attention and they're walking into the problem anyway.
You know what they say. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a tool is a good guy with a tool. So unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, we got a bunch of questions rolling in. We're going to take a moment and we're going to let you answer some questions. Tack Not Me wants to know, what's the single most important principle in situational awareness that everyone should know? Thank you for that question, Tack Not Me.
Well, I'll tell you, in my opinion, you've got to know your surroundings. You've got to be able to you got to take time to look around. You've got to know what you're looking at, and you've got to be able to identify things that go against the norm for the environment you're in. So if I'm at church and I'm teaching a class I teach church security teams, and I'm teaching one here coming up. If I'm at church, just to use an example, I need to know what the normal person coming to church looks like, what their demeanor is, what their facial expressions are. I need to create a norm across the board. Anything that goes against that norm, I need to address it. So whether you're in Walmart, you're at the mall, wherever you are, you need to have a mental norm in your mind for what you should encounter at that location. Anything that goes against that should be something that raises hairs or causes a stir in the stomach or causes you to have a desire to either leave or go and further investigate it.
Okay, that's a good answer. And I'm right there with you. Know what normal looks like.
Without a doubt.
This is not normal. Sorry.
When either of these other two over here. No, you have to have that normal picture. Without it, you don't know what a threat is or what a threat isn't. So you have to create that norm.
All right.
I have mild ADD, and I'm naturally a people watcher. So everywhere I go, I might not pay attention with who I'm with, but I'm watching everybody in the store because I want to see what's going on all the time. And I'll stand there having a conversation, and I'll be dead silent and looking at me and like, oh, sorry, I'm watching this person over here and I'm over there. It's just weirdness. I gotta watch the people around me when I'm not.
Just don't get into the point where your head's on a constant swivel, because 2 things are going to happen. You're going to look very weird, and you're going to end up with a neck ache. So
yeah, I look very weird.
Running your buggy into somebody that you don't want to run it into.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. And Mary Moon wants to know, how did your combat experience shape your approach to firearms instructions? Thank you, Mary Moon.
So I would say that where I came from and where Jake came from, we shot way more than the average. And depending on who we were assigned to or who we worked with, I was very fortunate to work with ODAs and Special Forces. I know a lot of the SF guys, the Bravos that taught firearms to some of the Iraqis and Afghanistans Afghani army that we were teamed up with. So those times allowed me to shoot a whole lot more than the average Joe. I wish I would have paid more attention during those times, and I wish I would have been more focused on shooting. We had some absolute rock star shooters, Antonio Rommel, guys like that. I don't know if you know him, Jake, but just wonderful shooters in units that I was in, who were far, far beyond my abilities. And I wish I would have fed off of those guys more, because when I decided to teach, I had to go and relearn a bunch of stuff. I had to go. So I've been to NRA instructor classes, and you can't do anything out here in the instructor world without going to an NRA instructor class, unfortunately. So I've been to those and kind of knocked the rust off and just started really hitting it. So I would say my military time, I shot probably a little bit more than the average Joe. And quite honestly, probably a whole lot more, to be honest. We usually had the opportunity to get to the range if we wanted to be on a range. So yeah, just numerous times on the range. We were in Afghanistan my last trip. We were on the range quite a bit training, and we had some great shooters in our unit and great instructors as well that I fed off of a little bit. So I remember Antonio teaching me the right way to shoot a pistol, because I've been shooting it wrong for so long.
Well, that's like, and a guy we both know, Sean Kerr.
Yeah.
Dude's a wizard.
Yeah, he'll be at my house next Wednesday.
Give that boy a hug.
He's coming to my small group church gathering next Wednesday.
Awesome. Give Sean a hug. Tell him I love him.
That happened because of you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Glad I could help make that connection. I got another question.
I hope that answered her question.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Famous Danielle Foote. How has your faith guided your post-military work with Fishers of Men? Thank you for that question.
My faith leaving the military, I have a very, very different outlook on things now than what I used to. And the reason is, in all honesty, I dug into this, right? And I actually have a health coach that I work with at the RISC at the VA, the War-Related Injury and Injury and Illness Study Center out of DC. And we were talking a couple weeks ago over a video chat, and I'm reading through the Old Testament right now, and there's stuff in there about wars and this and that. And it dawned on me, and I never really nailed the coffin shut until the other day. And I said, you know what? This is kind of ridiculous. We get labeled as something by the VA, and we tend to run with it. And we want a solution. When we don't know a solution, we want an absolute definite cause. And PTSD is a big thing there. And it dawned on me while I was talking to my health coach, and we were talking about the Bible. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? I said, there were so many wars in the Old Testament and so much devastation. And I've never asked myself one question. What did I expect? What did I expect from war? And I don't think we ever get asked that.
No.
So we come home and we're tainted and we're hurt and everything else, but we never really stop and think, and I had to ask myself, Will, what in the world did you actually expect from war? Did you expect not to see things? Did you expect not to experience things? And Nathan Peterson, I'm sure you remember him. He's now a chaplain, and he's stationed here at Hood. He was at my house a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about this. What do you expect? I mean, we went to war. And when you read in the Bible and you go back and read about wars during the Bible, my goodness, we're lucky. I mean, yeah, we are lucky. I mean, tremendously lucky. So that changed me a lot. That really did. But my faith I can tell you without my faith or my wife, I wouldn't be here today. So I'll tell you that.
I tell you what, I can second that.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And
no way.
Yeah. We're going to take a real quick pause here real quick. Welcome anybody that's coming late to the show. We are talking to Will Eller, and we're talking about situational awareness. We're talking about faith. We're talking about everything here this evening, and how to keep yourself situationally aware, and some stuff that he's doing in his small town where he lives. And also, I want to tell you, if you're out there and you're feeling the darkness and you feel it creeping in on you, pick up that phone, dial 988. If you're a veteran, take option 1, and somebody will talk to you. Talk to somebody, because, tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day, and it would really suck if you're not here in it. So, don't take that permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you don't want to dial 988 and talk to anybody there, drop an email to myself, to Steven, or info at the Misfit Nation. Drop your phone number in there and we'll call you. Have no problem doing that. And, we'll talk to you. So just don't do that. And we like having you here, and we are glad that you joined us. Okay. We've got more questions, Will.
Awesome.
From Cinnamon Not the Stripper. What advice would you give veterans struggling with TBI or PTS to stay productive and focused? Thank you for that question, Cinnamon Not the Stripper.
Hey, that's an awesome question. I think we all battle with this. We leave, especially when you retire, but it's no different. If you've been part of an organization, a platoon, a squad, whatever, you learn what tightness is. We call each other brothers, right? I call Jake my brother. And like Jake said at the beginning, I'd be there in a minute if he needed me. And I know he'd be here in a minute because we're brothers, right? We shared time, we shared, tears, everything else. I think I've had to call Jake before when one of our dear friends died, and I was the one that informed him about it, So we've shared those moments. And when we leave that and we leave our tribe, so to speak, we're basically out here flapping. There's tons of classes. There's the VA does a great job offering you tons of counselors and everything else, and tons of medication, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking the medication. Some people need it. I was on it. I got a bunch of it. I don't take that stuff. What I found, in all honesty, to hit your question head on, is number one, you've got to find a new tribe. And that tribe's here, I promise you. It's out in your community. If you can figure out how to integrate yourself within your community and be an asset. If you're not an asset, you're a liability. Be an asset within your community. You don't have to be the leader. You don't have to, take charge, any of that. Just go and help. Anything. Get involved in something. And then number two, I tell you, if it wasn't for God, none of this is possible for me. None of it. And, I can preach for the next 4 hours. I promise you on that little subject right there, because it's life-changing, 100%. It's changed my life, and it's for everybody. He didn't just die for Will Eller. He didn't just die for Jake. He didn't just die for Steven. He died for every single one of us. So what he did fits every single person. Some people say, well, drinking's not for me, or, this medication is not for me. He's for everybody. So he fits every situation, every problem, every incident, every bit of PTSD, whatever you want to call it, he fits it. TBI, I will tell you this, they lump TBI and PTSD together, and I think that's a horrible, horrible thing to do, especially in our field. We have a lot of blast overpressure issues, I think, and a lot of other fields do as well. That is different than your PTSD symptoms.
Yes.
But what I would tell you is you need to constantly get help for that stuff. You need to constantly find something that's helping you. I'm actually headed to Colorado next week to a brain institute. I'm going out there to see if I qualify from cognitive training that they have, and I'm 100% for it. All those kind of things, and I'm not a medicine person, so if I can go and learn cognitive tricks and tips to keep my mind active and keep things working finely tuned, that's what I'm doing. So, but faith is number one. Faith is absolutely number one. So.
You know, since I'm going to say I've always had faith, but I've been working on getting a deeper faith. And once you just give it all up and say, hey, you know, it's not in my hands anymore. It's like a weight gets lifted off your shoulders. And I'm not going to say life ain't perfect. It ain't never going to be, but it's definitely better once you figure out that you've definitely got a friend in your corner.
Yeah, we don't chase. I'll quote somebody, a pastor I listen to. We don't chase God and accept God and follow God to make life better. We do that because He's better than life. Period. So that's, I mean, that's the way I look at it.
You mind if I use that?
Yeah, we can go. It traces all the way back to Joby Martin in Jacksonville, Florida. So I'm sure he's okay with it.
Okay. Will, you got an invite.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You have been invited to connect with Andrew Jones, host of Locked and Loaded Faith, to be on his show.
Awesome. I'd love to.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, I'll hey, we'll throw my information out at the end, and you can certainly send me a message, and we'll get in contact. Happy to. If I can come talk about faith, I'll do it.
Got another question that popped up in here.
You were actually answering this one. You can add on to it. No, not that run with it. Wants to know, how can someone become more of an asset rather than a liability in their community? You were touching on that, but you can step further into that.
So I'll be honest with you, and this is one that was probably tough for me at first. We have a mindset. If you played sports, if you're in the military or anything like that, we have a mindset of that leader mentality, right? Especially if you're in for a while. Number one is humble yourself, right? You're not the answer to everybody's problems. You're just not. That was the toughest pill I've had to swallow. I'm not the answer to everybody's problem. And I could probably look at the way something's being done and pick out 500 different ways to do it. And they don't necessarily need to hear that, right, within your community. What you have to do is figure out, how can I remove myself and the selfish part of me? And man, let me tell you, I am selfish. How do I remove my selfish personality and be able to go over here and mingle with these people and help them accomplish their mission? And when you can do that, when you can remove the selfishness of yourself and humble yourself, you'll find out that anybody will use you. You can be a huge asset. You can be, and I don't know if you have those, but I struggle with those things badly. Being humble and being selfish. I can be non-humble and selfish in a heartbeat. But the minute I start working on those two things, I can look around and say, we need this. We need to help this person. We need to do this. We need to do that. My wife is really good at pointing those things out and bringing those things to my attention. And so if you want to be an asset, go get involved. Start small, go get involved. And just remember, it's not about you. It's about the overall mission within your community. And that's huge. And I'm still learning. So I'm still trying. I'm still, I'm not the guy that's the social butterfly. My wife and our friend BJ is, and I let them be the social butterfly. And, I let BJ knows everybody. So she advertises with my name and her name, and we draw a crowd, and it works out great. And I stand up on the podium and teach. And if I'm in that platform, I do pretty well talking. If I'm in this platform, I do well at talking, but talking to people in the community is not my strong point. But I'm getting better, so it's constant. It's learning.
Hey, growing every day. Growing every day.
You got to. Don't try to reinvent the wheel very quickly. Just take it slow and ease in there, and just figure out how can I be an asset? How can I help somebody?
All right. Now, if somebody wants to contact you about a class or coming to your training or coming to a fishing tournament or whatever, how do they get in contact with you, Will?
Yeah. Wave6operations@yahoo.com.
Wave6.
The number 6, it's the number 6. So it's WAVE, the number 6, operations@yahoo.com.
All right.
It's actually my wife's company. I just kind of took control one day. She was in the Navy. So, she was always, when I was an E3 and she was an E4, she would call the office. I worked at Camp Bullis, and she would call the office, and she would say, "Hey, tell him the admiral's on the phone." So, they would, so she outranked me for just a little bit of time. So, so it's her company, and her company's called Wave6, and I just kind of jumped right in with her when we started this training. So,
all right. Wave6operations@yahoo.com. Use that, Misfit Nation, if you want to ask Will some questions or get some information on training. Will you travel to do training, or do you do everything over Zoom, or how do you do that?
No, I'll travel. I'm trying to attack a couple different avenues. Of course, when you travel, it costs more money. You got a hotel, you got everything else, and we try to do this as with the least cost imaginable. Here in town, the class that I'm wanting to have, where I'm wanting it to be so big here in town for single mothers, I'm doing it for free. I don't want anything. But our normal classes are $100 a pop. If I'm teaching handgun somewhere, then I've got to charge more because I've got to rent a range space.
Got it.
However, situational awareness, if I'm doing it all by Zoom, I did one with the trucking company, over-the-road trucking company. We did that by Zoom, so that wasn't too bad. I just went to their facility. I can do that. And if I'm actually going and we're putting together mission packets and they're going out on Friday night and doing a mission and everything, then that one's going to be a little bit more expensive, but I'm willing to travel. I had a thing set up in Georgia there for a while, and it ended up falling through, but yeah, I'm willing to travel.
Okay. All right. Will, this hour has gotten away from us.
It usually does when we get together.
It does. It happens. But just like last time, I'm gonna, and we'll see if they've changed any. I won't know because I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, so I'm not going to remember what you said last time. But what's 3 non-negotiables that Will Eller has to do every day when he rolls out of bed, or your day's just not complete?
Man, where did this come from? This is definitely catching me off guard here. 3 things I have to do. Number 1, I got to have some coffee. First and foremost, I've got to pray first.
Okay.
Without question. Number 2, I've got to have coffee. I like my coffee. And number 3, I got to be moving, man. My wife or I, neither one of us are set around people. We can't tell you what comes on television programs. So I'm on the move. I'm either, I'm going to a doctor's appointment or I'm outside piddling with something. I'm not an inside on the couch type person. So,
all right.
I can't even tell you sports teams. I don't know.
That's my downfall. NASCAR and baseball.
No, not NASCAR, not Jake. No, what?
Tell him about those tires.
Tired to them tires he got, huh?
Well,
I'd say that's it. Prayer, coffee, and got to be moving.
All right. That sounds like good things to. We are not Joey Logano's #1 fans. No, we are not. Whoever put that in the chat.
That would be the boss.
Yeah, the boss put that in there. Well, Will, man, it's been great talking to you, brother.
It always is, man. Anytime we can chat.
Anytime we can chat. We're going to close this out and just hang around a few minutes after we get out of here. And Misfit Nation, thank you for joining the ToosDay Crue this evening. We know that you could be somewhere else, but you chose to be here. And we love you. Thank you
for the great questions, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Good night.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.